Hi, I'm Eilene. Welcome to the Adorn It Studio. Today I'm going to be talking about this beautiful table runner. As you can see, there are a lot of different components in this table runner and it makes it really stunning. On the inside, middle portion of the table runner, we've used a tumbler template that is included in your pattern. And then we have the borders, and then we have the sides. And the ends here, we have used a combination of embroidery, wool art, and then using quilting from a quilting machine, which makes it really beautiful. I'm going to talk to you about how to make the embellishments for the bottom portion of this table runner. It has a 3D element to it, and in the pattern you will have your image. And on this image, it has all of the artwork on it, but you aren't going to trace all of this artwork onto your cotton foundation. With a light source, either a light box or a window, you will want to trace this onto your foundation. But as you can see here, there are these flowers that are wool art, the leaves, we have other things over here. And those are the areas that you will leave blank when you are doing your tracing, because you don't need to embroider where those are going to go. So once you have done that and you have traced it, you can start embroidering the foundation part of this stitchery. As you can see on these leaves, those are also traced out. And so one of the things that we recommend is using a product called Heat and Bond. You can take the Heat and Bond and you lay it right over the top of their stitchery, and then you can trace out your pieces out of your wool felt, and then you will also trace it out of your cottons. The back side of your Heat and Bond will leave a shiny residue on the back side of your fabric. That's what will bond to the next fabric. So on these thinner 100% cotton, they will bond really easily onto your wool, but the wool does not bond onto the fabric very well because the wool is thick. And so we recommend to still trace out on your Heat and Bond your templates and then just peel off the back. And then how you get these on there is by using several different products. I really like the tacky glue. There's also a product called Fabric Fuse. And then we also will be using a little bit of our glue gun. And so that is really nice to put on the back of here. Now you don't want to put glue over the entire back portion of your wool art because you are also going to be adding these embellished stitches. And if you add too much glue, it's really hard to get your needle and thread through. So just use it sparingly enough to keep all of your pieces onto the fabric without moving, and then you don't have to use pins. Once you have done your embroidering and then you have done your wool art and done your different stitches, and you can see here that after you've got your wool on there, there's other embroidery stitches you can do to make it really pop. Then you will add both of the ends, because they mirror each other, to the middle section of your table runner. You'll add your sides, and then actually before you do that, you're going to add this bottom portion, and you can see that there's wool art on the bottom of here too. You'll add your border, and then using the same type of things that you used up here, you'll finish this off. I don't like to put these flowers on till the very end. I don't like a lot of bulk at my machine, so I would recommend getting most of the table runner sewn and put together before you add these things. So I'm going to show you how to make these really cute flowers here. It's very easy and it's not difficult at all. So for this little center here, it's really, really easy. I just used a quarter and I traced right onto my felt, and then I cut out just a little bit around the outside, so it gave me a little extra room. In the pattern instructions, it will tell you how much of this yellow fabric that you are going to cut. And basically what you're going to do is, this is the part where you're going to use your glue gun. You will just kind of twist this up at the end Add a little glue right to your center. And then you're going to start. And I just hold that down there for a minute and let that dry. You haven't used a glue gun successfully unless you get a lot of glue on your fingers. Okay, and then at this point, you're just going to take your finger and you're just going to start wrapping. I don't use the glue gun all the way around thick for the same reason is I want to add a couple of stitches to this to adhere it to my table runner, and if I have a lot of glue on there then I can't get my needle through, so I just kind of just sparingly do it randomly. Okay, you'll continue to go all the way around, so I'd go around one more time, and let's say this was my end. Then you just cut that off, and then you would just tuck it underneath and glue that down. And that is what you will do for this centerpiece right here. Since this dries right away, you don't have to wait for it to dry when you have a glue gun. You can go ahead and use, you can use a little bit of hot glue right there, or use the tacky glue, which is for fabric, and then let that dry. And then if you wanted, you could take a needle and thread and just randomly do some stitches around there just to keep it on there a little bit better, especially if you plan to wash this. If you're going to wash this, I would recommend a really gentle wash, and then to flat dry it for sure, and kind of fluff up your edges and make sure that your wool is it's not all munched up, so that it looks really nice and smooth as it dries. But that is helpful to go ahead and use a needle and thread if you plan on perhaps washing this table runner. Okay, the next thing I'm going to teach you how to do is this really cute flower, which is very easy. So again, on your heat and bond and on the paper side, we went ahead and took our template and we traced it out onto thicker paper just because it's a little easier to work with. And you will just go around. You'll trace that all the way around, and then you will take your scissors and cut that. Actually, once that's traced, then you can just cut it across here. And you're going to bond it to the back side of your fabric that you've chosen for your flowers. Now, this table runner is, we've selected fabrics from our GG Blooms line, and it's beautiful and colorful, and so that's what we have used. So once you have bonded this onto the back side of this fabric, then you can go ahead and cut it out, and it will look like this. Now, if you've ever used the wool before, you know that it doesn't really trace very nicely. If I were to have taken that template and traced on here, I might not have gotten as nice of a crisp edge, and that's what I wanted. So it gave us an opportunity to do something really unique, and that was to bond a cotton fabric to a wool fabric, and then make a flower that had basically a front and a back side, and it made it really pretty and unique. But it also made it really easy to make this flower because then I had a guide. So just kind of play with that a little bit, and then you would just take that to your iron. Don't use steam on your iron, just use a dry iron. Just go back and forth over it just a little bit, probably about 5 or 6 seconds. And then just let that cool a little bit. Once that has cooled, then you're going to go ahead and cut right around this edge, right onto that edge, so that it looks like this. And as you can see here on this flower, it has the purple felt on the inside and then that cotton on the outside. And it makes it really pretty. It's very unique. Okay, so for this is really easy. And you're going to take this and you're just going to start rolling it. And you don't have to roll it really tight, but you want to try and keep the bottom portion of the flower pretty flush. You don't want this way up inside because you are going to glue this also. So you want to get as much of the edge as you can. Okay, and then you'll have this right here. So go ahead and lay it down on a work surface in front of you, and then you can kind of play with it a little bit and loosen it up so that it's not quite as tight. And then you can just arrange it a little bit so that it looks the way you want. So then at this point, lift this part up and then take a pin, straight pin, that has a long pin on it, and just stick it right through the flower like that. Then that's where I take the tacky glue. And once again, I don't want to put the glue all around the surface on the bottom part of this because then I won't be able to put a needle and thread through it. So I would just spoke it out so that it gets all of the edges, and then take that last little part, put some glue on it, and then just pin it. And you want to just let that dry. And once that is completely dry, that is when you can glue it to the top of this flower. Again, you can use the tacky glue to do that. You could use the fabric fuse. Since these are made especially for fabric, I would recommend using those. And then once that has dried, you again can take your needle and thread and go just in and out in several areas just to make sure that that is secure on the table runner. We've also added these little tassels on the end of these picots, and you can either finish this before or after this part. It's really up to you, but I like to have most of the table runner completed when we get to this stage. So I hope that this tutorial has been helpful for you. Like I said, it's really a beautiful table runner. It has a lot of different components to it, but I think it's what makes it so beautiful and unique. Have fun with this wool art, and you can add little buttons. And then that is how you make the 3D embellishments for the end of this table runner. Again, I'm Eilene. Thank you for watching us, and always come back to the Adorn It Studio and see what other fun things we have going.